when I started in 1979, I had problem with trying to research because no one had ever done the plantation clothing before me. And so I even wrote to my uncle in Fukushima because he lived here until he was 15 and he returned to Japan in 1915. And so he gathered some information and sent me photos. But until years later, 1970s I think it was, we had a Japanese class reunion. Those who graduated in 1936. We had a reunion for the first time in 1970. And that was when I was already at the university, and when one of the girls, Elaine Haruko Yokota, her name was Watanabe, King Watanabe's daughter, and she asked me, "Oh, Barbara, what are you doing now?" I said, "Oh, I'm at the university, I'm studying now and trying to collect plantation clothing, but I can't find, And so she said, "Oh, I have a box full of my mother's kimono. I was ready to either throw it out or give to the Salvation Army." And so that was a miracle that she gave me the entire box. And this is very unusual, because this is Arakawa Tabi, but the ones that her mother, the leggings and the kyahang, the leggings are supposed to be somewhere. And you can see in my book that even to make the leggings, they used that old store thread, In the plantation store in those days, we bought with bango. They never used cash. People never had cash, so they had bango, the metal numbers. And after they did the shopping, the clerks would put those things in paper bags, and heavy paper bags, and wrap around with a store string, we call it, store string. And so it's pretty thick and strong. And all that, the Issei women, they had to be frugal, and they saved every little scrap or threads. And so for these leggings, there's a sample that they used the thick store thread to use as a loop to catch the kohaze, the metal buttons. There's one thing they never let go, and so this cummerbund idea came from that wide obi. And the Issei woman told me that the wide obi, which they tied tightly around, the waist, when they tied real tight around the waist, that's what kept them from suffering from hunger pain. It's amazing. Every Monday they would bring beans, some kind of beans for the bento. Usually they would put only maybe leftover food, nishime, or maybe small piece of salmon. That's all, and on the double-decker can with the rice underneath, only one ume. Some people so poor, only ume and only takuan, that's all they had. Pickled takuan, that's all they had for food. People that work in the pineapple fields, so poor that, like my mother-in-law, she said, in the double-decker pan with the rice, when in the field she would cut the slice of pineapple and use that. And that's all. Every Monday they're supposed to bring beans. Some kind of beans, because mame in Japanese means good health. And it had a good meaning to it. So every one of them, but either black beans, azuki beans, gobanzu beans, lima beans, any kind of beans, even the Portuguese beans used to be planted along the ditch, and they would pick that during work hours, and they would bring that for bento. So Monday, you see all kinds of beans, and they enjoy looking at each other's lunch can, what kind of beans each one had bought, and they felt that every Monday, if they bought beans, they would be healthy all week long, no matter how hard they worked, and that was really a wonderful story that I got from the Issei woman. And of course, Issei women, they didn't wear underwear during the early period. Under kimono, Japanese women never wore, underwear, panties. So when they came to Hawaii to work in the fields, in the beginning, they didn't know, the difference. And then eventually, of course, working with men, some men are pretty nasty, right? And so when they adapted the short skirt, when they bent down, I don't know whether I should say it or not. So eventually they had idea that that's how, see, Mr. Tazawa's this undergarment, momohiki, they fashion, that out of Indian head, the long undergarment, which is fashioned under a momohiki. And that was really a clever idea.